Hey, it's Dr. Karen with another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. Well, I'm recording this on Wednesday. It's been quite a day of interesting electronic interference. Now, honestly, I really thought we were kind of done with this between the the monkey demons clearing and the extraterrestrial interference. So, just to back up for those of you that are new to all of this stuff, is that in the past, when we had electronics not working, okay, whether it be the internet or, trying to connect to someone on Skype, it's not working, computers freezing and stuff like that, a lot of it was due to what my friend Tamara Joy Patterson calls little monkey demons. So they're a type of a negative entity that likes to create stress, and they like arguments as well between people, and they feed off that stress. And so they can interfere with your electronics and things like that and mess it up. And then, learning what they do, then I just upgraded my Ascension 1 and 2 healing products to direct them to all these little guys and to clear your electronics. And in the Light Warrior Boot Camp, which is my package B of my special package, we actually teach people how to direct the Ascension 1 and 2 energies to the electronics and all pieces of it, and there's some nuances to how to do it correctly to clear all of that, right? So that was going very well, and I gotta tell you, I have not seen or heard of a monkey demon in a while. It's like I don't know, it seemed like they just kind of left or all got healed or something, and certainly the hundreds of students and clients that I have that are doing Ascension 1 and 2 every day on a regular basis, I'm sure is helping a lot. So to be perfectly honest, I have not really had to deal with a monkey demon recently, or not even a dark watcher, a couple of regular demons here and there, and it's very interesting how this goes. It is said that with every ascension level up, there is an equal, resistance at that level, and I think that's what's going on right now. So after the monkey demon thing was cured, then what we saw was a lot of extraterrestrial interference, and they had a lot of entities attached to them, relating to them, so they were causing all sorts of electronic issues as well, and things moving across the room. I mean, just crazy stuff. So then we figured out how to deal with that, and again upgraded the Ascension 1s and 2s, to help deal with that particular issue at that ascension level. And then we got to the problem where electronics were having problems because many of my students are now developing their clairsentient, clairvoyant gifts, and their vibration is increasing so much that they can actually jam their electronics. So their high vibration can sometimes, affect electronics, so they freeze, especially if they're emotional. So it kind of freezes their electronics. So then we taught, the students in the Light Warrior Boot Camp how to download a buffer to help prevent, your electronic equipment from messing up because of you being too high a light. Okay, all right, so that was pretty good. So we had really, really good, electronic stuff for a while. Occasionally we'll have one or two people that haven't got my package or haven't worked with it yet, and I still have to clear them manually so that I at least get the downloads, right? So aside from that, it's been going very well. My telesummit calls, all the calls, radio shows have been going very well. No technical difficulties, no recording difficulties, nothing like that until today. Now, over the last week or so, I have been dealing with the kind of entity that is fairly new to me. Doesn't mean it's new to me. So, and has been revealed. So we actually went to another higher level of ascension. So this must be the equivalent of the resistance that is equivalent to that amount of power of ascension. I gotta tell you, these guys were a little hard to figure out. So how it started was a little trickle of these I would call them, dark angels who, out of all the bunch, lower realm, dark angels, monkey demons, watchers, regular demons, poor things, all relegated to being regular demons now. Anyway, for lack of a better word, regular demons, and ghosts. So, I checked the light scores of these beings, and the dark angels, kind of range pretty low, like Lucifer was a 9 out of 100, okay? That was before, we sent him healing. But lately, there have been some registering below a 5. It was first a trickle, and then it started becoming more and more often. So in the last week and a half or so, or 2 weeks, we've been dealing a lot of entities, which I had originally called called them dark angels. So, below the light score of 5. So really, really super, super, super dark. And interfering in all sorts of ways. And over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, there have been a lot of what I call leading energies. And Diana Cushionbach and I discussed this on one of our radio shows about leading energies. And basically, it's kind of like an energy that basically takes your attention away from source, or pulls you away, and sometimes can even mimic source because it can be very powerful. It basically gives you the wrong answer. So when you have, you're doing your divine muscle testing, you think you're connected to source and you're getting funky or weird answers. Now, normally you get a hint that you're not fully connected to source because some of the answers you get really don't make sense. Like, for example, I might measure a patient with chronic fatigue, and all of a sudden, we get that her vitality score is a 97, and I'm thinking, I don't think so. And she's like, I don't think so, So then we ask if there are any leading energies. And oftentimes the answer is no, but a little tricky to find these. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can count down from 10. How many leading energies? Just assume they're there. How many leading energies are preventing us from correctly muscle testing, this person or this situation? And count down from 10, 9, more than 10, no. Okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, there's 3. Okay, and then you can release them and send Ascension 1 to release them. Now, an easier way might be this. So I want you to try it for those of you that do divine muscle testing, is command right at the beginning. It is now commanded that I and everyone that I'm testing and healing be 100% connected to the one and only true source. Okay, and then at that point you muscle test that you are, and then do your muscle testing and divine muscle testings after that. And the times that I've rechecked the leading energies, and oftentimes it's not leading energies for me, it's leading energies for the person I am working on, but that still has in the past messed me up as far as being able to test the right thing in that person. So I found this really helpful. Now, there may be other ways, which I will share with you if I get permission to do, if I do find a new way of connecting to source for sure. But sometimes our muscle testing can be off. It hasn't been a big deal up until now, but like I said, over the last 3 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks ago, these leading energies have been causing issues. A lot of them extraterrestrial in nature, with entities attached, but this new so-called entity that we've discovered that is a very low light score of under 5, I asked to see, in my mind's eye, what this entity looked like, and I asked, is it really a dark angel? I get, no, it's not really an angel at all. In other words, it was never a fallen angel, meaning it was never light then fell to darkness. It was always dark. So, for lack of a better word, I called it the darkness of the dark. Okay, you can just short form call it the darkness. Now, for those of you that are Supernatural fans, the TV show, and there's a whole bunch of other TV shows and movies that actually show what this darkness looks like. It actually looks like black smoke. Black smoke, and the funny thing is I was doing a healing on a patient the other day, and I said, oh, guess what? And you should pay attention to this as well. He was feeling very sick, cold, symptoms, that kind of thing. And what it was he was detoxifying, not only from this timeline and this lifetime, he was detoxifying from past, present, future, and all his lives in the multiverse. So he was going through major, major detox. And what was going on as well was he was having nightmares. Now, I didn't know this when I was checking him. So before he told me about the nightmares, I asked, is this energy leaking anywhere? So check yourself. What's your vitality score out of 100? How well can you produce chi or energy? How much can you store energy or chi? This is some of the evaluations we do for people in this private sessions. And then I ask, is there any energy leaking out that shouldn't be, going somewhere else where it shouldn't be for the highest good? I get yes for almost everybody I've tested. Okay, this week. So between 30 and 60 was a big one, but between 30 and 35, 30 and 45 has been the amount of energy leaking from us, going to heal our doppelgangers in the multiverse. Okay, this is sometimes part of what happens when we are all one. So we are all one. I used to think that we are all one with nature and animals and the sky and angels. This is so great. We are all one. And I'm like, I never thought in a million years we're all one might mean that we're all one with all versions of ourselves in the multiverse, even the ones that are having problems, even the ones that are attracting entities, even the ones that are drug addicted. And I'm like, what? I didn't sign up for this, right? Anyway, so for this particular patient, I said that your energy's leaking. We figured out who or what it was leaking to. It was leaking to his doppelgangers. It was leaking to entities and multiple alternative timelines, not this one, and to the darkness of the dark. So I described to him, I showed him a picture on Google, like what it would sort of look like. And his eyes got really big. And he goes, "Oh my God, I was having nightmares. And I opened my eyes yesterday and I saw this exactly like pretty much what you're showing me. It was like black smoke." And I said, "Well, actually, what did it really look like? Because I want a better picture of this." And he said it was like black smoke, but there were little rings, like little donuts, individuations of this black smoke. And he knew it was evil the minute he opened his eyes, and he was very uncomfortable with it, and he commanded it gone, and within seconds it was gone. So this darkness of the dark actually has this kind of nebulous form. My understanding, it's not as individuated as dark angels, or any other of the other spirit beings per se. Think of it as, if you're a Star Trek fan, and you know that I am, is the Borg. The Borg is a civilization where they're individuated beings with a body in this case, but they are part of a hive mind. So when something's going on with one of the Borg, all the Borg know. If one of the Borg realizes that they're being attacked, all of the Borg figure out a way to counter that attack. And so they have a hive mind, yet individuated at the same time. So it's sort of like that. So it's like black smoke. There's individuated tentacles of the black smoke that can interfere with different people's lives, and yet it's all part of the one consciousness. This has been a lot more challenging to heal. Like, for example, with dark angels, we remove cords and curses from them and contracts and blah, blah, blah. Boom, within seconds, that individuated dark angel is healed and gone to a higher vibration. The darkness, not so much. So we have been asking my students to send the Ascension 1 and 2 energies, and to pray for and send love to the heart of the darkness of the dark, and all the iterations, of the little donut rings, whatever, of them. What I did not actually think about is the rest of the multiverse. So here's where we come back to the electronic equipment thing. So today, all sorts of problems with electronic equipment. Found out that some of my colleagues at some of the telesummits were also having server problems and things like that over the last couple of days. According to source, 97% of that is the darkness of the dark, and this is the resistance we're getting to the latest series of Ascension upgrades. So my understanding is, even though dark angels cannot really use, jump universes to interfere with us in this universe, I can, interfere in some ways to my other multiverse lives, and on behalf of my patient for the highest and greatest good, and I can sort of interfere in a positive way. The darkness of the dark, interestingly, doesn't have those boundaries. So the darkness of the dark from the different versions of the darkness of the dark for this universe or alternate universes, guess what? They can skip boundary lines. So they can interfere with us in this universe, even though they're from alternate universes. Now, don't freak out. Okay, like if you have the habit of going into fear right away when you hear this new stuff, just stop it. Okay, stop it. We always figure out a way, right? Okay, it's more inconvenient than it is dangerous. So even though this black smoky thing looks really scary, and on TV shows it looks really scary and everything like that, you know what? Everything is cured and healed with love. Okay, so that's where you have to be in. You have to be in that vibration of love. So don't go, trampling off into fear right now. Okay, come back here. Come back here. I want you to be in love. All right. So if we send Ascension 1 and 2 and those healing tools, or whatever tool that you use that you love that's high vibration, and you send it across all universal lines, okay? So in the multiverse, you're sending it to the heart of the darkness of the dark in all the multiverse, all iterations of it, over and over and over again. Have a standing order that keeps going over and over again every day. Put it on your list. Just like the monkey demons, just like the fallen angels, everything else is just going to diminish. Okay, this is just another step in our evolution. And those of you that are like, hey, I'm a high light score, how come I'm still depressed? Okay, how come I still have autoimmunity? In fact, the autoimmunity has gotten worse recently. So when you check your autoimmune score out of 10, it's really high, 9 or 10, if you happen to have autoimmune disease or issues like that. Why? Well, because your physical body, sometimes your energetic body, and other parts of your anatomy are kind of reacting to feeling and sensing the other versions of you in the universe. So say there's 85 versions of you, okay, that you are connected to in that moment, and out of those versions, half of them are dealing with entities in the multiple universe. Not dealing with entities in this universe, not currently present, not including darkness dark, of course, which can cross universal lines. But what'll happen is whatever your doppelganger is feeling in that other multiverse, you get to feel in this universe. Some people it's worse than others. Other people are completely, they don't feel anything. But a lot of us are feeling more sensitivity. So it could be a pain, it could be depression, okay? It could be stuff that's healing from your doppelgangers, especially if your energy's been leaking out to them. So you want to put a stop to that, and we actually put that, filter and shield up, for lack of a better word, in Ascension 2, but you can intend it right now, right? If you play Ascension 2, just command that none of your energy goes to leak out to any of your doppelgangers, if not for the if it's not for the highest and greatest good. And for the most part, it'll all be contained to you. So you should have more energy if you're having problems sleeping or having problems with your energy now. So you want all your energy to be back to yourself and not automatically just going to heal, your other versions of yourself. And when you muscle test, sometimes you actually have to test which lifetime you're testing, because some people are so sensitive and clairvoyant now, the clairvoyant gifts are just expanding exponentially, that they might see a hole or portal, in your house, or even, a bunch of ghosts or entities or markers or something, and it might not even be in this timeline that they're sensing it. So you may need to be more specific about what timeline you're sensing it. But the great thing is that you can always take your Ascension 1 and 2 tools and focus it to all your timelines, all issues. You got a pain in your knee, focus that to every single person, every version of you that has a pain in the knee. Okay, you have autoimmunity, you're going to go ahead and focus it on every version of you that has autoimmunity. You got entity issues, go ahead and focus on the entities themselves, no matter what timeline it is. It doesn't really matter. All you need is to think and imagine it, all right, and send it to your doppelgangers in the alternate universes. That will thank you. So we're entering something that, for lack of a better word, I say that a lot, don't I call the convergence. So this is not exactly the same as the 9 realms of convergence in, the latest Thor movie. But I got that word convergence from the Thor movie. But it's basically a convergence of, everyone and everything into we are all one, meaning that we get to converge on many aspects of all their different lives, that all lives get to heal, all of our multiple lives get to ascend. How cool is that? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to feel the symptoms of your doppelgangers, especially if you've been doing your homework. So if you did the mass clearing with me on Tuesday with From Heartache to Joy, there is still a replay, so make sure if you don't know, the replay, get on the mailing list for Series 14. Even if you're on this mailing list for Series 12 and 13, still get on for Series 14. It's KarenCan.com/FHTJ, From Heartache to Joy. Because that mass clearing helps to clear multiple universal lives, okay, of yours. And that way it makes things a lot easier. The other versions of you will heal faster. You don't have to feel their symptoms as much, including their entity issues. But from now on, you can actually start, if you are one of those healer types that you want to start testing the stuff, you can test which universe it's in and what you need to do. In some cases, we have had some, and this relates to the darkness of the dark as well, because they can cross universal lines, is that someone, for example, might think, oh my gosh, I'm under attack by entities. Okay. Now, they are actually not under attack in this timeline, but their doppelganger is. And if the darkness of the dark is involved, it is possible that, some object might go flying across the room, okay, and sabotage you. Okay, so your computer, you're playing my Ascension 1s and 2s, your computer goes flying across the room, and you can't play my stuff anymore, okay? Or your cell phone or something like that. It is possible. But here's the thing. They cannot do that without using somebody's energy. So, for my students who are very sensitive and very clairvoyant, having the clairvoyant gift, guess what? You are telekinetic. So, in order for them, entities, to be somehow flying the stuff across the room, even if it's not an entity in your current timeline, if they're interacting with your doppelganger in another timeline, theoretically, it is possible, if you're connected to your doppelganger and your energy is going there especially, it is possible, okay, for something to go flying in the room, because your energy is being used to it. So it's sort of like a poltergeist, where a poltergeist or spirits, they don't have the power to move objects, but they can harness the power of usually a young woman or young girl, and their high energy, in order to make objects fly and things to crash and things in the house. Remember the poltergeist movies? Okay, love those as a child. Anyway, so those poltergeist movies. So it's kind of similar, okay? Again, just filter everything through your higher self and see if this resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's fine. Just throw it out. If it doesn't work for you, that throws it out. I just want to give some peace of mind to some of my students who are having some of these supernatural things happen to them, that this is not necessarily entities that are interfering with them in this timeline. Okay, so hopefully now that I have actually updated the universal shield yet again to actually counteract, detect, be able to detect the darkness of the dark, I already sent out the order for everyone that already has the universal shield, and of course those that did not, and it is for their highest and greatest good, for it to be upgraded to detect and also thwart whatever darkness of the dark is out there that's trying to harm or hurt you or interfere, including our electronic equipment. So hopefully, hopefully you won't have many problems with your servers, your companies you're dealing with, email, downloads anymore. I hope you don't anyway. There might be a few cracks here and there, but for the most part, like I said, every time there's a new so-called threat, just realize it's part of the resistance that occurs with every upgrade ascension. It's not a big deal. We just have to deal with it. That's all. And that if you're having a symptom, it might be your alternate self having a symptom, so why not send healing to your alternate self? So far, I haven't gotten that we have a choice in the matter that way. We can probably turn down the volume of the symptoms, but we don't always necessarily have the choice of not becoming We Are All One. It's just where we're all heading to. That's why we're incarnated in a body in this timeline, to do that. So far, I've gotten no every time I've asked, can we opt out of this ascension thing? The only way to opt out, well, not truly opt out, but opt out as being opted out of body, meaning that people choose to leave the body and choose to die and that kind of thing. There's a lot of that going on still. And last thing I want to tell you is sometimes the universe punctuates, great learnings, and it makes us pay attention. And so definitely the minute I actually posted the picture of the darkness of the dark on my Light Warrior Facebook group, at that moment, 2 seconds later, the lights went out. It went out in 3 or 4 towns around us. And here in Lake Placid, we did not get our power back for 18 and a half hours. In fact, I didn't do too much about it, although I did do weather magic. We had the craziest weather. And it went from, sideways rain to raining slush, which I've never seen before, and then to really hard rain. We got really hard snow, heavy snow. It was like this thick in a matter of like an hour. And things turned to ice in town. It was crazy. The trees and leaves were all like, whoa, like this, because it was so heavy. It was pretty, but it was heavy for them, poor trees. So I finally was like, okay, is there some sort of entity interference? I did find it, actually removed it, and then asked my light warriors to go ahead and send Ascension 1 so I could get power back. Thank you guys. It wasn't that long after that everyone started doing that we got our power back. But just interesting, the whole electronic issue and the darkness of the dark and interference. So that's what we've been dealing with here. It's been quite eventful. So if you did not do the mass clearing, go ahead and do that Tuesday on the replay. You'll check that out. Yvonne Perry and I had an amazing conversation Monday about walk-ins. And so that is also on a replay for you. You can check out the link below the YouTube channel, which we'll put up for this week's radio show. Next show is the LifeWave show, the first Monday of the month with Dr. Dennis, and we are going to be going over patching protocols for enhanced athletic performance. So there are a lot of athletes out there asking about that. So we're gonna, and so is Dr. Dennis. So he is so happy to do this about athletes on Monday. So again, join me. And if you do not have the Ascension tools, you can check it out. You can go to karencan.com/special to check out some of the Ascension tools. They're very useful. They keep getting upgraded over time, and just to make it simple for my folks to be able just to point Ascension 1 or 2 in direction of whatever it is they want to heal. They get upgraded energetically, so you don't have to buy new and upgraded versions. This is not Windows, okay? You don't have to buy upgraded versions. So as I learn more, I'll share with you. Thank you so much again for your attention. I know this has been a long one, but I wanted to tell you everything that's going on, and so far so good. Okay, this video has survived. All right, guys, love y'all. Take care. Bye for now.